Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 362nd Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. This will be the last Brotherhood YouTube battle that we put on for 2018, and I hope it's going to be a good one for you to watch. On behalf of the Brotherhood, I'd like to wish you all a really happy 2019, and I hope the new year brings you all good fortune from the Brotherhood and myself. And as I say, we'll still continue putting these battles on all through 2019. This battle was fought on a flat featureless map, which is unusual for me to host on a flat featureless map these days. I do like a map with a few features in. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Lando. A lot of you will know him, a lot of veterans will know him as Brotherhood member Turbo, but he calls himself Lando now, and as you can see, he's bought the Rome SPQR faction. Just like to draw your attention to his army build here. I think he's got 15 infantry units. Yeah, 15 infantry units, 2 archer units there, and just 3 cavalry. Okay, so that's 15 infantry, 2 archers, and just 3 cavalry. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his cavalry. Okay, you can see he's got 8 upgrades on his cavalry, so that's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now that turns this already elite cavalry into super elite cavalry with those upgrades. But will 3 cavalry cut it on the modern day battlefield, and will that amount of infantry make up for those 3 cavalry? We'll just have to wait and see. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who's also bought the SPQR faction. It'd be interesting to look at his army build as well. I think he's got 14 infantry. If you notice here, he's got an eagle unit and of course his general morale bonus. Have a look at his general. Okay, as you can see, he's got 8 upgrades on his general, so that's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. And as I say, he's also got an eagle unit as well, so he's got 2 lots of morale going on here for his infantry, his eagle unit and his general morale bonus as well. So that's a lot of morale there for his infantry when they get into the battle. Which is always good, because the better morale, of course, you've got for your troops, the longer they'll keep fighting. And I see he's got 6 cavalry. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. And I see, yeah, he's got 7 upgrades on his cavalry. So he's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. So that's a pretty good army there. I think that's a well-balanced, all-round good army there for Steve. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member, it's RTW player Lee, who has also bought the Rome SPQR faction. I'd just like to draw your attention to his army build here. 17 infantry. Okay, so he's got 17 infantry. Now he's got also here the old school Roman armoured cavalry general here. Now up to about 8 or 9 years ago, we all used to bring these Roman armoured cavalry generals, and about 8 or 9 years ago we changed generals to urban cohorts. So it's nice to see a bit of old school here by Lee. He's been playing Rome Total War since it first came out. So he is actually a very experienced RTW player. And as I say, it's nice to see him bring an old school general there. Always nice to see a bit of old school on the modern day battlefield. As I say, he's got 3 cavalry including his general and 17 infantry. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his cavalry. Okay, only 6 upgrades. So he's just got an gold shield, gold attack. But it's nice to have that much infantry, but will that make up for a lack of cavalry? I guess we'll just have to wait and see as the battle unfolds. Should be interesting to see there with all that much infantry. Lots of pilots to throw there anyway. Okay, and our 4th teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has unusually bought the Greek cities factions. Now this is a very old army. I was looking through a notebook of mine back from years and years ago, and this was an army that I saw in there that I've written down especially because it seemed to do quite good for me. And so I've kind of resurrected it for this modern day battle. As you can see, I've only got 12 Spartan units and 3 cheap archers, okay? But a lot of my infantry have got an experience stripe on. Now, it'd be interesting to see, as you can see there, can you see that unit there has got 7 upgrades? So it's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. You don't see an experience stripe bought very often with Greek cities. You see that other unit's only got 6 upgrades on, just gold shield, gold attack. So it is a mixed upgrade army, and it is years and years old. As I say, I found an old notebook of mine from years ago where I used to write down my armies and upgrades and stuff, and that's what I've done with this Greek cities army. Okay, now I just want to draw your attention here to something very, very important that could really sway the battle. Right, I just want to count up the cavalry we've got there. We've got 3 cavalry there. 3, and then we got there 6, so that's 9. That's 9 cavalry there so far. And then we got 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so our entire team have only got 12 cavalry. Okay, now me bringing Greek cities already put our team at cavalry disadvantage, but you've only got 12 cavalry. Okay, so that could make the difference towards the end of the battle. We just have to wait and see. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I just thought we'd have a look at this old Greek city's army of mine and its formation. If you notice here, I've divided my army into two. Okay, I've got the A army, which has got my general in, and of course the other army there is the B army. Now, I've got them in wide formation here because this army is specifically bought. It's a custom-built army and bought to this battlefield to neutralize Germania. Okay, I call these two armies my Spartan walls. Okay, they're wide and they're difficult to get over or get round. Okay, and they're here specifically to try and neutralize the Germania attacks. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how well they do. This army, as I say, is very, very old army, and as I say, I like to bring the older army I can to the modern day battlefield to see how well it will do. But as I say, this is specifically bought to neutralise Germania here. As I say, I think to bring spear or pike factions you need quick reactions, and I know that over the years my reactions have slowed quite a lot, so I tend not to bring pike or spear armies that often. So it'll be interesting to see how well I manage to do with this old army on the modern day battlefield. As I say, it should be an interesting battle for you to watch. It'll be interesting to see if this army can neutralise Germania against a good Germania general. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Lee's formation here. Now, can you see he's got a genuine Roman formation there of the checkerboard formation? But if you notice, he's got a wide checkerboard formation. Normally, when you see the checkerboard formation, it's more in depth than this, but he's actually widened the formation out here. So that's an interesting formation there, and it'll be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle against really good players. Should be a good one to watch. And here is the enemy team. Okay, their first teammate is Brotherhood member Mars, who's brought the Rome Julio faction. Now you can see that most of his army is hiding in the long grass. Can you see the darker grass area and compared to the lighter area? The darker grass area is the long grass where most of his army will be hiding there. But as you can see, he's got 6 cavalry. Let's say the rest of his infantry will be moving out of that long grass area during the course of the battle. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Trajan, who has bought the Scipii faction, and I think there, 1, 2, 3, yeah, he's got the bog standard 31k army of 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. Remember the bog standard 31k army, very efficient, very effective. That is why it is the bog standard one, because most people like to use it. Okay, their third teammate is Brotherhood member Bark, who has bought the Carthage faction. Now I notice Bark has got very good with the Carthage faction recently. I think he's got 15 pike spear units there. I just like to draw your attention to the way he's made his formation up here. Can you see that the secondary line there behind the first line have got 7 upgrades in, but then his elite infantry at the back have got 8 upgrades. So his elite infantry at the back have got 2 experience stripe gold shield gold attack. If you notice, his pilot shield units, or the ones at the front of his army, have just got gold shield gold attack on. So if you look at the upgrades, he's kind of staggered his upgrades to make his elite troops stand at the back of his formation. Now that's a really good tactic and good formation there, because of course the lower upgraded troops are going to take the pilots and the main front hit, but his elite troops are ready to stand into the fray from the rear. And she's got 4 Sacred Band cavalry with just gold shield gold attack on those 4. So as I say, that's a really well put together army there. As I say, Bark has got very good with Carthage lately, and that's a tried and tested army of his. Okay, their fourth teammate is Brotherhood member Legion 22, who has bought the Germania faction. Now if you have a closer look at his army build here, you can see he's got 5 archer units with gold shield gold attack upgrades on. Of course, barbarian factions need archer cover because their troops are extremely susceptible to any kind of missile damage. So to bring 5 good upgraded archers there, it's pretty good. Okay, I see he's got the chosen axemen, and these chosen axemen, don't forget, are effective against armor, got good attacking specifications, and used correctly can cut wide swathes through heavily armored troops like Roman urban cohorts. I think he's got 6 units of them. And then, of course, he's got the infamous Berserkers. Now, remember, the Berserkers in this game have got 2 hit points, effective against armor mace, and bring a big fear factor, which destabilizes enemy troops because their morale drops, and then that makes them more susceptible to routing. And if you look at the size of those Berserkers in compared to ordinary infantry, you can see how powerful and strong they are, but just by their size, if you just look at the difference there between them and ordinary infantry. So that's a pretty good, that's what I call the shock troops. Those troops there are shock troops. You bring them in at the right time, and the shock that they cause when they hit enemy troops can cause mass routs there. So as you can see, in coordination with his allies there, they can be shock troops. And then let's have a look at his Gothic cavalry. As he's got 7 upgrades. That's an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Check out the Gothic cavalry specifications. You'll be surprised on how good cavalry they are. So that's a really good, balanced, well put together Germania army here. It's got potential to be a great battle. Okay, right at the beginning of the battle here, you can see that Lando, or Turbo here, has been already aggressive. Him, Steve, and Lee are all potentially very aggressive players here. So I can see that's why they've gone out to the attack straight away. As you can see, my 2 Spartan wall armies are at the back there. But I'd like to draw your attention here, as I say, to the Germania army at the back of the enemy troops here, because it's very susceptible to missile damage. But also like to draw your attention to this crafty little move by Bark here, bringing 2 of his cavalry units round our flank. Now probably what he's looking to do there is to try and kill as many of our archers as he can with those cavalry units. If he can get round the flank or even get in behind us there, they can be used quite effectively. Notice he's got them in normal formation, so they got extra speed rather than in wedge formation when they're slower. Okay, out here on our right flank, as I said, you can see that Turbo is being very aggressive here with his SPQR army against the enemy Julii troops here. If you notice, Steve has also moved out here as well. As I say, Lee, Steve and Turbo, all very aggressive attacking players. If you notice, I'm moving one of my my Greek cities armies out there, my A army with a general in there to support against any potential Germania attack on my 2 attacking allies here. So as I say, Turbo, Steve and Lee very aggressive here, and you can see that right from the beginning of the battle. They've set their attacking credentials out. Right, as you can see here, Lee is moving his army over as fast as he can, and I notice I'm keeping one of my Spartan wall armies in behind him as well, to keep that army close to his, just in case there is any Germania attack on his army. If you notice here, Mars is bringing a couple of his infantry units out there, backed up with some of his cavalry. Looks like he might be looking to take on Steve's army there. Right, can you see here the Germania general was bringing over his axemen and berserkers here. Lando spotted that and is going to move his army in behind my spears, trying to draw those Germania troops onto my spears there. They're hoping he's going to activate his berserkers and attack, and then that, of course, he'd move his troops back, drawing all those Germania troops onto my spears. So that's what Turbo's thinking there. But whether the Germania general will actually activate his berserkers at this stage of the battle, we'll just have to wait and see. Over here you can see that Lee is making the most use of his general, armoured cavalry general, looking to hit into those Germania maybe archers there, where it looks like he's attacking an axe unit there. Nice aggressive use of the general. But over here on our right flank, can you see the enemy Julii general there, doing a combination of cavalry and infantry there, attack on Steve's cavalry there. Okay, so that's a nice combination of infantry and cavalry there on Steve's cavalry only, okay? So Steve's not going to want to hang around there, because not only is he fighting cavalry, he is fighting infantry as well. Okay, just like to draw your attention to the enemy cavalry count here. Okay, so we know Mars has got 6 cavalry, okay? So that's 6 there. You can see that the Scipii guy's got 5, so that's 11 cavalry. I think Germania's got 6. Okay, so that's going to be 17 cavalry there. And I think we saw that Carthage had 4. So they've got 21 cavalry units against our 12. Okay, so they've got 11 more cavalry units than we have. Now that is a massive, massive advantage to the enemy team there. 11 more cavalry units than we've got. Now, is that going to make the difference towards the end of the battle? We just have to wait and see. But just let me tell you that with that much cavalry advantage there, I think that is almost a battle winner, having that many more cavalry. As you can see here, Trajan bringing his Scipii cavalry over, and bang, as that cavalry smashed into the rear of Steve's cavalry. If you notice wisely, Steve is pulling his cavalry back there. He doesn't want any truck with all that enemy cavalry plus enemy infantry as well. That was a nice counter attack there by Mars using infantry and cavalry, and nice support there by Trajan bringing his Scipii cavalry over also to help. But as I say, the enemy have got 21 cavalry units against our 12. Okay, so that is a massive advantage to the enemy with cavalry there. Okay, and that could really well sway the battle towards the end of the battle there. Okay, you can see here, as I say, Lee and Turbo here, very attacking players. And as you can see here, straight away, Lee moving his units around. Remember, Lee's got 17 infantry, and he's going to look like he's going to do a left flank in action. As I say, Lee and Turbo, very aggressive players, and when they play side by side, they kind of egg each other on for aggression. As I say, Steve can be very aggressive as well. But as I say, over here on the left flank, looks like Lee and Turbo are looking to do a left flank in action. I'm keeping my one of my Spartan armies close to Lee's army there, as I say, just to try and neutralise any Germania attack. But as I say, very aggressive move here by Turbo and Lee here, moving around on this left flank. Now, if you notice here, can you see Legion's got his archers in close, tight formation there? So that enables them to deliver more compact archer hits here, which causes more damage. Okay, I've noticed that Legion's using fire arrows. Well, of course, that causes less casualties, but it does drop the morale of enemy troops being hit by fire arrows. As you can see here, Lee's moving his 17 infantry around the flank here, and Lando's attacking as well. As I say, I'm moving one of my Spartan armies over here to support Lee, just in case the Germania General fancies doing like a kind of a fast attack on Lee's infantry there. Let's say Turbo and Lee here being very aggressive on this left flank, trying to turn the enemy flank here, attacking Trajan. There's a lot of enemy cavalry at the back here. They may well try and attack. Okay, can you see Lee's general there in a very precarious position? He just pulled it out in time. Or maybe not quite in time. He's been killed there. So Lee has now lost his general. Okay, so he's lost the general morale bonus there for his troops. And you can see there's a mass of enemy cavalry there. Just look like they're waiting to hit Lee's infantry. So you can see I'm moving one of my my B army over here to try and support Lee's infantry. Now remember, the Greek cities armies that I've bought here are specifically bought here to actually neutralise Germania. I don't really want to get bogged down fighting ordinary infantry if I can help it. Because of course, if either of my armies get bogged down fighting enemy infantry, then that gives the Germania General more of a target to hit my troops if he knows that one of my armies are already bogged down fighting enemy infantry. As I say, there's a lot of enemy cavalry out here. Remember what we said before, 21 cavalry units they've got against our 12. And that could really make a difference here. Let's say here I've got my my A army here and my general in just behind Steve's army. But if you notice, the Germanian general's pulled his army back. But as I say, the enemy are trying to make the most of their cavalry advantage there over on the left flank. Okay, let's say the Germanian general's pulling his army back a little bit, probably out of archer range there, and trying to decide where he's going to attack. My goal with my two Greek cities armies here is to try and frustrate and anger the Germania general. Hopefully make it so he doesn't know where to attack, and maybe do a rash attack which might end up on the spears of my Spartans. That's what I hope to do with my two Spartan wars there. Try and frustrate and anger the Germania general there. But Legion's been playing RTW for a lot of years now, so whether this tactic of mine will work, we just have to wait and see. Remember, at a glance, we are Greek cities and SPQR. The enemy are Carthage, Germania, Scipii, and yeah, and that's it, Scipii there. So as you can see here over on our left here, I'd just like to draw your attention. Can you see that Turbo here has got some of his units in guard mode? I think he's got 2 or 3 of his cavalry units just stood there in guard mode, receiving the attack, while using a couple of his units to actually attack and fight the enemy. Notice how they're just stood there in guard mode there, ready to receive the attack from the enemy. And that's quite an old but very effective cavalry tactic there. Stand there in guard mode while he moves his infantry up. So he held in guard mode with his cavalry while he moved infantry up there to counter that attack by the Scipii cavalry general there. It's an old tactic, but you don't see it very often used on the battlefield, but still very effective. Okay, meanwhile, I'm back to the main battle area here. You can see that my My one arm is there, and you can see that Germania General's moved his army forward. He's itching to attack. You can see by the way he's moved his Germania army forward, he really wants to attack. But he's looking at my two Spartan wall armies there, and he's not can't decide on where he wants to hit. Okay, so I'm hoping that he's getting more and more frustrated. As I say, I've seen this in other battles where I've used these two armies like this before, and it's frustrated the Germania General so much that they've done rash attacks, and their Germania troops have ended up on the spears of my Spartans. But as I say, Legion's a very experienced RTW player, so whether he will get frustrated or angry, we'll just have to wait and see. As you can see, Steve's got his SPQR troops out in front of my my one Spartan army there. And as you can see, I've got my B army there right in the middle of Lee and Lando's army there, ready to receive any attack from the enemy. Meanwhile, over here on our left flank, you can see I think Turbo's got his cavalry and infantry there. Has just routed the enemy Scipii cavalry. Nice combination hit there with his cavalry and infantry to rout those Scipii infantry. I can see Mars is Julii cavalry coming over, and bang, as that cavalry smashes into the SPQR troops. Okay, so that's a nice hit there by the enemy Julii cavalry. I can see the Germania cavalry coming over here as well. Bang, as that Germania cavalry make contact with our troops there. Nice cavalry hit there. Don't forget those Germania archers there are shooting fire arrows into our troops as well, lowering the morale of our troops. Nice Germania hit. You can see Lee bringing over a couple of his cavalry units, and bang, as those cavalry units smash into those enemy Julii and Germania troops there. So we're not doing too badly here on the left flank. A nice combination of cavalry and infantry hit there by Lee and Turbo here on our left flank. So we're not doing too bad here against the enemy Scipii and Julii and Germania troops there. So we're doing okay there. As you can see here, I've got my B Greek Cities army just behind Lee's army there, ready to move forward if a Germania general decides to attack. As I say, I don't want to get bogged down fighting ordinary infantry if I can possibly help it. I want to keep those armies ready to move, react fast to any Germania attack. See the Germania general there stood at the back again, still looking to see where he can hit. But as I say, my two Spartan wall armies there, I think are doing their job at the moment by keeping the Germania army at bay at this time. I say, remember the enemy are the Julii, Carthage and Germania. So, and of course the Scipii as well. You see that Germania cavalry hitting, bang, straight into our SPQR allies infantry. He's probably going to press on, possibly with that Germania cavalry, onto more of the our allies SPQR cavalry, and bang, as that Germania cavalry hits. As I say, very good elite cavalry, those Gothic cavalry. If you check out their specifications. As I say here, Legion's been able to keep his archers in close, tight formation, so this increases the impact of their arrows, causing more damage with those arrows. So he's using them extremely well, and I notice he's shooting fire arrows all the way through the battle here. So as I say, not only causing casualties, but lowering the morale of our troops as well, making them more susceptible to routing here. Okay, if you notice here, Lando's only got a couple of units left over on our left flank, and they look like they're close to routing. Right, if you notice here, I've used my B army here to help support my allies against Carthage. Okay, so I've decided here that I'm going to use this B army now to support my allies to try and take out Carthage and the Julii units here on our left centre. Okay, but I'm keeping my A army with my general in, ready to neutralise the main Germania infantry attack here, okay? Right, so as you can see here, Steve now can see the Germania army moving towards us, and he's moving his units in behind my spear wall, okay, hoping to attract the Germania troops to attack and then end up on the end of my Spartan spears. So that's why Steve's pulling back through my one Spartan wall army there to try and attract Germania onto my Spartan spears. Now whether the Germania general will do that or not, we just have to wait and see. As I say, my B army here, I've decided to start attacking now to help my allies against Julii and Carthage. I hope that's a wise move there. As I say, just hoping that over here on the left centre and left flank between us we can do well against the enemy team. As I say, I've got my main army on the other side there to hopefully neutralise a Germania attack. Okay, so right, you can see the bulk of the Germania axemen, all the Germania axemen are moving forward, and as I say, Steve's army is now pulled back through my A army spears there, hoping to attract the enemy Germanian troops to attack head on my spear units there. Okay, so as you can see here, can you see that the enemy team now are attacking aggressively my A army? Okay, can you see that both Julii and Carthage are both attacking my A army here to hold and pin my A army there? Okay, now there's a tactical reason for this. This is a nice bit of team play here I'd like to show you. Okay, so the enemy are really pinning and holding my my A army there, where the Germania general is bringing his berserkers and cavalry round our right flank. And this is a great tactical move there by the enemy team. Okay, pin and hold my A army that's there to actually neutralise Germania's attack. Okay, so they're being pinned and held there, where Germania berserkers and cavalry could move around to our right flank there to try and destroy our right flank. Let's just see what happens here. Now I'm about to ask you a tactical question here. So it'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are on this tactical question I'm about to ask you. But as I say, you can see my A army is being pinned by Carthage and Julii troops there, making it difficult for me to respond to what's happening over on the right flank. Okay, here's the tactical question. You can see that the enemy berserkers, all 3 units have now been activated. Okay, so they're in berserk mode, and you've got that well upgraded Germania cavalry around our right flank as well. Okay, so they're going to smash into our right flank. Now, if you're Steve here, do you stand your ground or even attack those berserkers and Gothic cavalry? Is that what you would do? Or would you pull your army back? Would you pull your SBQR army back over to the left there, away from the threat of the berserkers? Remember, those berserkers and cavalry hitting together could rout your whole army. So, would you hold your ground, attack Germania, or pull away from Germania? What do you think you would do if you were in charge of Steve's army there? Okay, a tactical question here that you've got to make in a split second, because those berserkers are going to move in fast. What do you do? Attack? Now, bearing in mind, I said to you before that my reactions have slowed over the years. Should I be turning my 2 N Spartan units there to face Germania? Attack now. Should I be doing that? Maybe I should. I've slowed down, as I say. I should be turning those units now to face Germania. But what's Steve going to do? Is he going to attack Germania, stand his ground, or pull back? What do you think he's going to do? Okay, what Steve decided to do is pull his army away from those attacking berserkers and cavalry. He's going to move over to the left, okay? So that's what he's going to do. Rather than stand there and try and take on those berserkers and cavalry, he's going to pull the bulk of his infantry away from that flank. Right, if you notice here, can you see I'm starting to turn units to face the threat of the enemy coming towards me there? But as I say, I thought I was a little bit slow there, and maybe my slowness might cost the team the game here, because if those berserkers start attacking my allies, that could be a problem. My B army there is attacking, as I say, enemy troops. But if you notice on 3 sides there, I've got enemy attacking my B army there. You've got Germania effective against army axemen being taken over there as well to attack our allies. So as I say, the battle here, it's either going to be one here, I think, on this left flank, or it's going to be one on the right flank by the enemy. Can you see 2 Carthage Sacred Band units coming in there to smash into our allies' SBQR cavalry? Then he changes targets and go into Steve's retreating infantry. But meanwhile, over here on the right flank, can you see those berserkers and cavalry units charging into that one Greek city unit? And that Greek city, you remember, most of my Greek city units, all of them, have got an experience stripe on. So that unit held against that attack. I think if that was just gold shield, gold attack, that unit would have routed then. But that experience stripe helped hold it there. But as you can see here, our right flank, I'm being attacked by Carthage. My general's just been killed, going to lower the morale. I've got enemy Julii infantry attacking me, and those 3 berserker units lowering the morale of my troops. Okay, so my A army with a general in, including my general, has now just been routed. Okay, so maybe I was a bit slow at moving there, but my whole A army has now been routed, and the enemy are looking to roll us up from right to left. Okay, so things not looking very good here. Let's say my B army here is being attacked on 3 sides by enemy troops. Carthage, you've got the Germanic effective against armour axemen and the Scipii infantry attacking. And you've got that Germania cavalry, which I'm guessing is going to smash into the rear of my engaged Greek cities, which cause real problems for me. Steve moving his SBQR army away from those berserkers there could have been a good move. Maybe he may well help Turbo and Lee over on the left flank to take out the enemy Scipio troops that are left there. But as I say, the battle could be won or lost there over on that right flank. And remember, those Germania archers all the way through this battle in that close, tight formation has been shooting fire arrows into us all the time, causing major casualties and lowering the morale of our troops. Okay, so as I say, over here I'm just hoping that my slowness with that A army hasn't cost us the battle here, but it looks very much like it possibly has. Okay, so now the enemy, as I say, are going to roll us up from right to left. As I say, I've lost an entire A army, including my general there. As I say, that Germania cavalry there looks like it's going to smash into the rear of my engaged Greek city troops there. You can see that cavalry charging in, the berserkers are charging in, the Julii enemy troops charging in as that Germania cavalry hits them. Bang! As those Germania cavalry charge hits in. Right, I've managed to turn some of my Greek city units to face that attack. But I can see there's already a unit of mine starting to rout. Remember those berserkers, effective against armour, lowering the morale of my troops as well. You can see that my troops are surrounded on 3 sides by enemy troops there. So things, as I say, not looking very good for my army there at this stage. If you notice, Steve has moved his SBQR army in behind my spears there. See his army in behind there? So he's keeping the berserkers, my spears are keeping the berserkers away from him and his army. Okay, so that's a good move. So as I say, he's got his SBQR army in behind my spears, and I'm between him and the berserkers. But that Germanic cavalry is still being a menace on the battlefield here. Remember, they had 21 cavalry units against our 12. And as I say, that could well make the difference towards the end of the battle. You can see some of my Greek city units are already starting to rout. You notice the enemy are really putting pressure on. Can you see the aggressive attacking way that the enemy are attacking my Greek city's army there? Including those berserkers, those enemy Julii troops. So basically my B army there has now been kind of, well, wiped out, as well as my A army. Okay, so Steve's SBQR troops, Lee's and Turbos there are trying to hold our ground there, but I can see that Germania cavalry menacingly creeping around our left flank. Remember those Germania archers at the rear of our SBQR allies there is going to be shooting fire arrows into them, into the rear there, lowering them around and causing casualties. Okay, basically I've got 1 Spartan unit left now. All the rest of my Spartans have now been killed. But as I say, that Germanic cavalry and the enemy Scipii cavalry are in behind us. If they smash into the rear of Steve's engaged troops, then I think that could be the end of the battle there. See those 3 berserker units still intact, still fighting. As I say, if the Germanic cavalry charge into the back of Steve's engaged infantry there, then I think that could be curtains, if you like, for our team here, I think. Right, see that Germanic cavalry? That's one of the SBQR generals just been killed. See that Germanic cavalry charging in there, and bang, as that cavalry charges in there. Straight into the rear of our engaged, tired troops there. Okay. Right, okay, just going to draw your attention to this. Okay, both Steve and Turbo's generals have just been taken out. So we've lost all the morale from those generals. Also, I see Steve's Eagle unit has been taken out as well. See his Eagle unit there? So his Eagle unit and both their generals have just been taken out by that Germanic attack. Nice smash into the rear of the engaged troops there by the Germanic general there with his cavalry. As you can see there, the enemy Carthage, the Berserker units and the Julii units are pressing in on us now, and it'll just be, I imagine, just a few more seconds, and the rest of our allies' SBQR troops will rout, and that'll be the end of the battle there. Really well played to the enemy team there. As you can see, most of our SBQR allies are now routing. As I say, really well played to the enemy team there. Really nice play there, guys, and you deserve the victory there by the way that you played. I thought really well there. As I say, our team did quite good there, but in the end we just couldn't seem to quite carry it forward there. Oh, hang on, we just managed to rout the Julii general there. If you notice, Steve is still aggressively attacking with 3 of his units there, and I've still got one of my Greek city units there fighting as well. But as I say, the Germanic archers there are shooting into the rear. Oh, we've just managed to rout several of the Julii army there. But the Carthage Sacred Band, we know they're really good. And as I say, that those Germanic archers are still firing fire arrows into the rear of us there. And notice my archers there, those cheap archers have been shooting fire arrows into the rear of the enemy troops, lowering the morale of the enemy troops and causing casualties. But we've managed to rout the Julii troops that were left there. Now it's just, we've just managed to rout the Carthage general there.
The gods be praised! The enemy general
see that Germanic cavalry at the back was charging into SBQR troops there, and bang, as that cavalry hits, trying to go on through to my last Greek city Spartan unit left there. Well, we've managed to rout now the remainder of the Julii and I think Carthage armies there. We've managed to rout them there. That Germanic cavalry though, and there's chosen archers, Germanic chosen archers are still there. Let's say I've got one Spartan unit left, that's all I've got, and the rest of my allies have got extremely battle damaged infantry units left here. So we're moving forward now towards the Germanic archers. I see that Legion, as I say, he's placed those archers really close together, so of course when they fire their arrows are more compact and cause more impact, and there cause more damage there. Right, can you see that one isolated SBQR unit? I see he's going to charge his cavalry into that, and bang, as that cavalry smashed into that isolated SBQR unit. Well done to that SBQR unit, still holding. I thought that would have routed there with the impact of that cavalry. You notice here Steve still moving infantry forward. I'm not sure, but I think both Lee and Turbo's armies have been completely wiped out at this stage. So it's just, I think it's just Steve's army that might be left there, and one of my Spartan units, and I've got my cheap archer units as well that I'm moving forward. Remember, those Germanic archers are so tough, you can use them as light infantry if you want when they run out of arrows. But I noticed that Legion's still got them on skirmish mode, so they're still running away. He's probably hoping that maybe he might, by doing that, cause casualties to our troops with his archers shooting into the side and rear of them as they run by them or something like that. So he may well be hoping that he could still sway the battle here, because all of Steve's troops are going to be exhausted. If they start losing casualties to arrows, then they're going to be more likely to rout. Let's move on to secondary speed here. Right, if you notice here, I'm taking my archers forward as well. I'm going to concentrate on that one unit over to the right there with my archers there. I'm going to concentrate on that unit there with my archers. Try and take it out. If you notice it here, Steve has moved his units into Testudo. And that's quite a good move, really. He's not going to suffer any more casualties from archers there. Can you see that Gothic cavalry looking to charge in? You can see that Gothic cavalry charging forward there. And then just before he hits the SBQR infantry, he decides to call off that cavalry hit. Probably looking to hit my archers, maybe. I would think that Legion will probably look to admit defeat now. I think anytime. There you go. And he's just admitted defeat. So how the heck did we win that? I've got no idea. From all intents and purposes, we'd lost that battle there. Just look at the intensity of the battle here from one flank to the other. You can tell the intensity by the piles of dead. And I know there's a very old saying that I've used in several of my battles about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Well, I'm sure you would agree there. How the heck did we win this battle? As I said, for all intents and purposes, after that Germania cavalry hit into the rear of Steve's infantry, it really did look like we've lost that battle. So, as I say, snatching victory from the jaws of defence, I think, has never been used more properly in a battle than here. You can see we've got all battle depleted units here. As I say, I think it's just Steve and myself that's left. I think both Lee and Turbo's armies were absolutely wiped out there, but they did really good jobs in weakening the enemy there. So as I say, that was an amazing close battle there, as I said, that I thought we'd actually lost. I think we all thought we'd lost that battle when that Germanic cavalry went into the rear of Steve's infantry there. Okay, first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game, and as you can see, it was a close victory, as we said. And I think if this game did very close, and that's what it would be, very close. Best kills goes to Lee, 1,471. So well done to Lee there, some really nice kills there from him. That old Spartan army of mine that I made out from that old notebook of mine, kills not too bad. I'm surprised I got that many kills with the way that my armies got taken out. And if you notice, Legion got the second highest kills in the game there with his Germania army there, so well done to Legion. Excellent use of Germania there, I thought. Cunning and strategic is how I would describe Legion there with that Germania army. How he got round that right flank of my Spartans there. But as I say, Unfortunately, I have slowed up a bit, and I thought my reactions didn't really do very good there over on that right flank. So I'd just like to say really well done to Brotherhood member Mars, Trajan, Bark and Legion 22. Really well played, guys. Nice aggressive attack in there. But also really well done to RTW player Lee and Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks and Turbo. Really well played, guys. And I hope you enjoyed this last battle of 2018. And if you did, please give us a thumbs up. Spartan Commander saying bye for now.